a grain of salt. And we're on. Looks like we've got a little bit of a delay going here. Take everything that you see on this show with a grain of salt and do your own research. Make sure to follow up on any questions or anything like that if I didn't answer them. Also, disclaimer that this is for entertainment purposes only, and that I'm not giving out any financial advice, nor am I giving out any medical advice. So let's kind of get going on the show here. I'd like to start out here at Community Emergency Preparedness. We'd like to kind of give a shout out to all our new members. Jack Burton, Selena Richardson, and if I butcher these numbers too bad, you can send me a message and let me know. All right. So welcome everybody. We also have Sabrina Martinez, Debbie Lipley, Rolette Jarvis, Farah Samuels, Mark Chavez, Ashley Marie, and Brina Danks. Welcome to the community, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to post and some of your comments. Please be mindful to all of our other members. Everybody's got a different opinion, different outlook on life, so we really try not to be negative here. We try to kind of keep everything on a positive note. So that being said, let's get started on a couple things. Today we had President Trump come out and talk about the coronavirus at 6 o'clock. And you know, some of the stuff he was saying, I really pray that he is right. And I pray that America is number one place to be in a time of a pandemic, because of our technology, because of our medical research, and etc. I really hope he's right. Otherwise, you know, one thing I caught at the end of the conference was somebody had asked him about, you know, some of the fears of Americans of this virus getting inside small communities and spreading quickly, and he kind of pointed out that, you know, we are prepared for it and it's going to happen. And that's kind of what I picked up, was that it's something that's going to happen. This thing's kind of like the flu, like you were saying, but it's a hearsay. Not really a hearsay, but it's kind of like the flu, but it's can be a little more contagious. It can be a little more dangerous. Pneumonia, if anybody's ever had that stuff sucks. You don't want to really get too sick, so you want to keep yourself healthy and keep your immune system up. We have a case here in Wisconsin. He's been under quarantine for the last 21 days, and he is still testing positive for the virus. I really don't understand what that means as far as his ability to the virus itself being in his system for 21 days or not, and I'm not really sure how that's going to. Oh, I'm getting warnings on here, checking my video resolution. Hopefully everybody can see me very well. I know there's a little bit of delay, but so one thing I want to do is kind of go over what some of the specialists and some of the professionals had mentioned about the Wuhan coronavirus, the COVID-19. If you're going to prepare for a pandemic, experts explain what you should do to get ready and how to protect yourself, what researchers believe are likely scenarios going forward, the latest fact-checked news. One of the important goals that you have is be able to shelter yourself inside your home for at least 2 weeks to 90 days is what they're recommending. If you do it for 90 days, that's a big stretch. And I don't know too many Americans nowadays that can actually take that amount of time off work and still survive. So, you know, it's going to be a tricky one. Without leaving for supplies or outside help, if we are having significant amounts of transmissions here in America, you want the option to avoid other people in public places. Or if things get really dire, it's may be recommended or required that you stay in your home for a period of time. Like they had said in this earlier, up to 2 weeks and potentially 90 days, if better, if you can do it. Here in America, it's going to be a little different than what we've seen over there in China. We have a lot of human rights here versus what they have over there is a lot different. Now, is the government going to be able to put us into a quarantine zone or potentially put us into a martial law? I do not know. These conditions are a little different as far as America is concerned. Keep hearing a tapping sound. I'm not sure what that is. But anywho, so most important goals is to be able to keep shelter. Being able to protect yourself against from picking up the virus is the ultimate goal. There are steps you can take now, and more seriously steps you may want to have ready in case things get much worse. And we're going to kind of go through some of those steps tonight. Listen to legitimate sources. All right, internet's full of 1,000 different things coming at you. 10% truth in all things. So be able to read through the lines, be able to see what's going on around you, adapt and control the situation. So sources, so you can make decisions based upon accurate and rational news. This epidemic already has enough actual causes for concerns. There's no need to make things worse. If you are totally unprepared, getting the following absolute essentials before taking another step is what they're going to recommend. This is what they say. You need a source of portable water, extra or any essential medications you are taking, which that's kind of hard to do, especially with how certain doctors operate now. Is they're only going to give you a certain set amount. So whatever you got, and do the best with what you got. So next thing they say is have plenty of toilet paper, feminine hygiene products, soaps, detergents, everything else you need to keep your body and your home clean. Nitrile gloves, and minimal N95 masks. That's what they say. So, food and water, you should have a supply of that if you're preparing for something. Bottom line, doesn't matter what you're preparing for, you need food and water. Next thing that I have listed on here is keeping yourself entertained. When you get locked in for weeks upon weeks at times, you can go a little stir crazy, get a little cabin fever rolling. Now, what you're going to want to do is make sure keeping yourself entertained. Morale is huge when it comes to your health. Keeping a good spirit is crucial. So, latest news and key developments. Key developments on Tuesday, February 25th, 2020. Coronavirus will mark the end of affluence politics. The possibility of global pandemic will reveal our inability to make distribute the things people need just in time for the presidential election. What that's saying is when a pandemic happens, all roads in and all roads out have to be shut down. That means transporting stuff in and out of countries that are affected. That's going to affect their economy. It's going to affect, especially you look at China, how large it is, second world's most powerful economy in the world. When their economy starts to go down, it's going to trickle down across the rest of the world's economy. We're seeing that, I believe. I really honestly believe we're seeing part of that right now in our markets today. As this thing starts to kind of spread out, and how it's already gone into Italy, and Italy's already shutting down big percentage of cities and putting everything in a lockdown. Well, it's going to trickle down. It's going to affect the world economy. Key development points for Tuesday, February 25th. The Atlantic warns you are likely to get the coronavirus. The trick, of course, is not getting it at all. The same time everyone else does, so that you have access to the functioning hospital systems you need it. Well, I really don't know that's going to really help if everybody's got it. If it's spreading like wildfire, everybody gets it, right? So, we're just going to have to play it by ear as it comes. here in the community. I really encourage each one of us, if this virus gets into your area, if you get infected, please report on it. Report what you're doing to help fight it. You know, kind of go through and you know, help us, help you, or help the community. If you get sick with it, report on it. We can help one another kind of help get over this, because it's not like a guarantee like you're going to get it and then you're going to die from it. So you're going to get it, you're going to get really sick. Hello out there. You're going to get really sick, and then whatever you're doing, whatever you find success in to beating this thing, you know, share it with the rest of us. There's 1,000 different items and stuff out there that help your immune system. So, you know, whatever you find, report on it. And, you know, everybody else within the community here is going to report back. And we're going to help one another out. That's how we're going to, you know, beat the odds, is community helps. So, you know, that's kind of where it's at. We got to help one another. You know, protecting yourself against the coronavirus. Your goals would try to get a few months supply of your prescription medications, stock up on commonly used medications, pain relievers, cough syrups, antibiotics, ointments, creams, and anything of the like. Prepare for stomach problems that will arise from eating your shelter-in-place food by buying Imodium AD or similar products. Prepare for the possibility that you may need to quarantine a sick friend or family member inside your home. That's another thing we got to think about. What are we going to do if somebody inside our home gets sick? You know, is it to a point where we're all going to be sick, or are we going to isolate them, treat them like we would in IS or ICU? Kind of get it down to where, you know, you're helping them as much as you can, keeping yourself clean, you know, wearing those gloves, wearing those masks around them, keep them isolated into one room, and then, you know, taking care of them from there. So, you know, protecting yourself that way. Stock up on commonly used medications. I think I've already said that one. You know, it's going to be tough if we get sick. So everybody in your home needs to know what to do. So you know, the head person needs to know this. Your partner needs to know. Your kids need to know drills. It goes on from there. It's a family event when you come to training. Be able to clean and disinfect spaces where you and possibly multiple others will be living in extended periods of time. Now, they also have a list on here of bare essentials that you're going to need. So the list is hand sanitizer, and you guys have heard me on other videos and across me talking to everybody. Everyday carry hand sanitizer, everyday carry, and we're going to get into EDC later and kind of talk about that. So next, eye protection such as industrial safety goggles, swimming goggles, anything that would somehow, if someone sneezed, from hitting, or prevent someone from sneezing from hitting your eyes. Basic glasses are better than nothing. So basically, if you got glasses, they work, but they leave areas around your eyes to get infected. But it's better than nothing, right? Sunglasses that fit tight to the head probably help too. Toilet paper and feminine hygiene products. This stuff turns into currency. You hear that? So toilet paper, hygiene products, and time of emergencies turn into currency. You'll be able to trade these items if you have other group members around you, I guess. That's what they're recommending. During their lock times. Since a few thoughts to stockpile it. Well, they write this stuff so weird. Bleach, alcohol, and other household cleaners that will kill viruses on shared surfaces. So really what it comes down to is a mentality of when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, when this kind of pandemic happens, is you need to set up a lifestyle. Is every time you use something, you clean it, and then you don't touch it again. Every time somebody else gets in there and they put their fingers and stuff on it, have them clean it. Clean up behind themselves every time so that you can't spread it any farther than what it is. So we got a lot of reading here to do to kind of go through this. I highlighted a lot of this. This came off from the Preparedness.com Wuhan coronavirus website. And so I just wanted to kind of go through it with you guys and touch base on some of this because, you know, I learn as I go sometimes, and so I like to share what I learn. And as I'm doing research and stuff, it's not just like I'm making a bunch of stuff up. I got lots and lots of paperwork here in front of you. I read it with you. All right. So words about respiratories. You want respiratory rated mask N95 or above. P100 works. A surgical mask, the common types found at corner stores that are more commonly worn in Asia, are not proper respirators. Apparently I can't read tonight. Respirators. They are mostly designed to protect other people from you, not other way around. So the masks that you see in doctors' offices and down at the Walgreens and stuff like that, that medical mask, what you're seeing is things to help protect other people from you being sick. So if you're sick, you're sneezing, you're coughing, that mask is catching all that. It's not going the other way around. So you want to make sure you're getting an N95 or above rated masks. Now, however, proper respiratories are in low supply around the world right now. 3M is running their factories 24/7 just to meet urgent medical needs. Even our government has put on a big list of order for these masks. So if you can, the time is now to prepare. I mean, honestly, I've been saying it for a month now, but the time is now. We're coming up on a cornerstone on this thing. So respiratory, however, proper respiratories in low supply around the world. If best you can do is surgical mask, it is better than nothing. So what they're saying is the only thing you get your hands in is a surgical mask. Wear a surgical mask. If you have to, make it tighter around your face. Something is better than nothing at this point. Respiratory filters, cartridges don't last as long as most people think, so buy many as reasonably can. Like these RZ masks, right? The filters inside these only last so long, and there's only so many of them, so I have to count my trips carefully. Now there's other things that you can do that help last longer, but we'll talk about those later. A full face respirator, gas mask, aka, protects your eyes, nose, and mouth at the same time. If you buy disposables or half-face respirators, you will also want separate eye protection. So what I mean by full face gas mask is this right here. This is an old vintage M17A2 military gas mask. Canisters go on the side that you can get. This is an older one. I also have a M40A1 that works too, that has canisters. Now I've had these for a long time, right? I've been, you know, getting preparedness stuff for a long time just because it's something I feel that's important, and you know, I have passion for this stuff. So I've had some of this stuff for a very long time. It's not that I've been preparing for this pandemic for a long time. It's just, it's stuff I've already had. You know, and part of getting prepared for something is you don't have to build up your inventory right off the bat. You can build up your inventory, and I've explained before, is, you know, slowly build that material up. You don't want to go out there and dump thousands of dollars into equipment when you don't have to do it. I can't guarantee tomorrow, but what I can guarantee is a plan to get more stuff over time. And if I'm here tomorrow, then that stuff's going to work. If I buy an extra can of beans at the grocery store, every time I go to a grocery store, within a year's time, I have a stockpile of beans. Same thing goes with hand sanitizer. If I go into Walgreens, it's like $1 or something for a small bottle of hand sanitizer. I got a pile of them. So then I got them, you know. So, which means fits importantly. Fitting the respirator is important, right? So respirator needs to fit tightly to seal around your face in order to stop particles from getting inside, which means those facial hairs in children with small faces need extra care. As you can see, I kind of shaved mine back. I'm not as furry anymore because I want to make sure my mask, when I have to use it, is going to protect me. You know, I was in Walmart today and I asked a young lady, you know, what is she going to do? And she gave me the response, if it happens, it happens. And my response to that was, well, when you get older and people count on you to, you know, keep going, and the world's weight's on your shoulder, then you think of what you need to do to prepare for such events. And she wouldn't say anything after that. She probably thought I was a little nutty, but you know, I'd rather be prepared and a little nutty and nothing happened than something happened and I wasn't prepared. So, you know, with this, your goals: have ready access to enough portable water for at least 72 hours. This is what we're going to talk about. 3 gallons at 1 gallon per person per day. 1 gallon per person per day. So if you have a family of 3, that's 3 gallons of water per day. Now, if you do the math, it doesn't take long, and you got a whole lot of water, right? That you're going to have, or you're going to have ways to make clean water. Now, during a time of a pandemic, your water source is still going to be running. Your faucets sink. Now, I can't guarantee the quality of that water. I recommend putting a filter system in your home, or at least on one of your taps, so that then it's being filtered out. Having ready access to enough portable water for 72 hours minimum. It's very unlikely a tap would run dry, but water is so critical that you never want to risk being without it. Ideally, you like 15 gallons per person, so enough for 5 days. So for 5 days, you need 15 gallons per person. That's quite a bit. So, you know, I'm going to kind of go through a couple things I found today. I have bottled water, which is awesome. But there's, you know, storage, and then you have to have space, and then you have to have, you know, different filtration systems, but you gotta stay hydrated. That's the most important thing, staying hydrated, you know. So let's see here. Cover the nutritional bases. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, fibers, vitamins, and minerals. Stock up slowly by grabbing everything extra every time you go out. So just like I was saying, they're recommending every time you go out, get something new. So that would be good. Prefer shelf-stable foods that don't require refrigeration. Well, that'd be good too, especially, you know, in the summertime. If that occurs in the wintertime, you know, you can at least store a little bit of stuff outside in the garage if you got one, or outside in the cold, as long as it doesn't freeze. If you can get shelf life food, that's even better. That helps you out longer term. Get some comfortable foods too. Now, keeping your morale up is huge. Happy people live longer, right? That's the idea. So the happy foods, comfort foods, would be candy, desserts, snacks, baked goods. Help with stress in times of crisis. So having that comfort food. Having some stovetop preparation food like rice, pasta, beans, ready-to-eat meals, canned goods, MREs, because many be in the position to prepare food due to illness or lack of time. So you want something that's quick and easy. Also, you want stuff that's high in protein and high in other nutrients. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend trying to survive being sick on ramen noodles. It just doesn't hold a lot of value to me. Water is so important that we include it here as requirements, despite the starting assumption that the tap will run throughout the pandemic. You know, you gotta have water. That's bottom line. So if you have a life straw, if you have filters, if you have ways to boil water in time of need, you know, that'd be huge. In a time of being locked down in a pandemic or in a having to self-quarantine yourself, having entertainment or distractions is highly important too. Unplug from the news or social media gives your eyes and minds a rest. So you don't want to be sitting and reading about this all day long, stressing your mind out, making things worse. You'll start to have nightmares. What you need to do is take a break from it. Reduce your stress and anxiety. Socialize and interact with face to face, so with the people within your home. Otherwise, FaceTime, video chat, whatever it may be. Build community, right? And that's kind of what we've been doing. That's what they recommend. Give yourself and everyone else something to look forward to in the afternoon and evening. So have a scheduled plan to have a good time, like board games, play some cards, drawing. I mean, if you're stuck in your home for weeks at a time, you gotta be able to do something that takes up your time. You don't want to sit there and go stir crazy. Unwind at the end of a long day and doing whatever you had to get through the crisis. I'm not a drinker. I think alcohol is good for some, I guess, and there's other recreational things that people do. Myself, I think alcohol will kind of dehydrate you a little bit, and I drink the water. But there are a couple things out there that you can do, but keep entertainment on it. So, if the internet starts to slow down, movies and stuff like that, TV, you don't want to be sitting around all day unless you're sick, but you want to keep your mind relaxed, entertained. I'm always tinkering on something. You guys you'd see my work area here that I've kind of put together. I've changed it up again at the end of the show. I'll kind of show you what I've done. So, your basics: portable water, having a backup power source is always good. Batteries, stockpiling those. Solar powered radios if you have those in case power goes out. Portable power packs. That's one thing I was going to go through tonight with the portable power pack, and I'll talk about that later. I have one of those that allows you to jump vehicles. Entertainment that doesn't require power, think about that too. So the board games, the card games, drawing if you like to draw or art, craft things. Beginner's checklist for preparedness activities. So emergency preparedness checklist. I don't know if anybody you guys got one or not. I got one laying around. I put them up on the community group on Facebook, so look inside the files there, you might find one. How to build a first aid kit, we went over that last episode. Am I preparing for the global coronavirus? I'm preparing for life. So as a I guess a preparer or a I wouldn't say doomsday preparer or anything like that. I'm not looking for doom or anything like that, but I try to prepare for whatever life has got to throw at me. I'm a minimal survivalist. I have done, different out in the wilderness, stuff like that. And one thing I've always learned is if you have it, you can use it. If you don't, then you find another way. It's always easier if you have it. Otherwise, you're trying to fight something, trying to stay alive. Am I sober? Yes. Yes, I'm very much sober. I've been sober for, gosh, probably 8 years now. Probably pretty close to it. But if, you're into that kind of thing, have a couple drinks, relax, whatever. Just not my type of thing. Now, if you have to venture out, back to subject here, make sure when the pandemic gets into your area, into your communities, use gloves, respirators, goggles, wash your hands regularly, use that protective gear, and the biggest important thing is, unless you absolutely think you are sick with the coronavirus, the doctors would probably be a bad idea. If you're starting to if you're starting to get to a point where you're sick, and inside your communities you know of a small outbreak, etc., if you go to the doctor, well, people that have been contracted this virus will be there too. So the possibilities of you going to the doctor to contract something increases. So, unless you absolutely are certain that, you're sick, or that you're certain you've caught the virus, don't go to the doctor. Try to stay away from it, because that's where everybody that's sick is going to go. That's, like I said at the beginning, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not really giving you any kind of advice. This is strictly what I'm going to do. So what do you do if you get infected inside your home? Isolate yourself, and warn family members. If you haven't traveled in the last week or two, and there aren't any known coronavirus cases in your area already, it's likely you have the normal flu. Don't mind freak yourself out and make you think that you have it. Well, thanks for stopping by, Rainier Berg. Bye-bye, and thanks for coming to the show from Germany. Appreciate it. If you go to the hospital, other healthcare facilities, wear your protective gear there. Remember, you want to protect yourself from them, and you want to protect them from you. So, good to wear that gear anywhere you go whenever the infection gets out there. All right, so some other stuff. I know it's been a long list here. Is one thing I had on here is from the pandemic flu CDC website, or the pandemic page that they had on the website there at the CDC. They had something called maintain a positive outlook, and the kind of bullet point that they have is limit your exposure to graphic news stories. Get accurate, timely information in reliable sources. Focus on positive things and structure fun and absorbing activities into your day, such as exercise, reading, writing, organizing, and calling your friends. Maintain your normal daily routine if possible. Exercise, eat well, and rest. Find comfortable in your spiritual and personal beliefs. Keep a sense of humor. It's important. Laughing is like the go-to cure for everything, I guess. It helps with your mood. It helps with your emotions. I mean, well, that's your mood, but oh, well, thanks, Dan. What next part here is what happens, what might happen in a pandemic while we're watching it on the news. It's all over the world right now. Italy, you're seeing things kind of collapse over there as far as the quarantine zones. China, people are getting locked inside their homes to kind of fight this. Well, what happens is something like this happens, they shut down schools, they shut down your work, you're stuck at home. So being prepared helps huge on that. You don't want to be stuck inside your house with no food. Bottom line, you can't live without food and water. So get a little extra built up, right? So next on the topic here is some of the gadgets I do recommend. Like I said, I had the from long ago. I got the N17A2 mask. To kind of work this thing is you flip. It's got the M6 headband on it, and so you flip it inside out, and on the back side you got the webbing for your head. And what you're going to do, you slip your head in there. You're going to tighten that down so that it creates a nice seal across your cheek and your nose, because you don't want to be breathing and then it shoots up into the mask and then your goggles all fog up. With the M40A1 mask, it's similar, just a little newer. And I can break that out too real quick. I have a canister already set on this one. So this is what the newer version, this is the M40A1 looks like. I got the canister already set up on it. I keep it inside a plastic bag. And I wipe this thing down with a little sanitation stuff to make sure that there's nothing in it afterwards. So on the back side on this one, you have this webbing. Now these are a lot more expensive than your disposable ones. The M40 runs somewhere around $140. This one, the old vintage one, they have it on eBay for $120. It gets a little more spendy, but I've had these things for years, so I pray I never have to use it. I don't think in this circumstance right now that I'm going to have to use it. I really hope that Mr. President Trump is right and America has this under control and that it's not going to be a big problem. But if I had to, I have this just in case. Some of this stuff was given to me as a gift years and years ago, and I kept it just in case. You just never know if you ever need something like this. At least you have it. And I do have the canister for this one too. That's in an unopened can right now. So hydration, keep them hydrated. Gotta keep hydrated, especially when you're talking. So let's start out with the booster pack. So I picked this up at Costco about a year and a half ago, I believe. This is a jumper pack, also a backup battery source. I can plug my phone in and charge it, hold my laptop. It has, what is it? Not going to give me the cranking amps. But what I do know is that it has enough power to jump my truck, my F-150. It's got enough cranking amps to do that about 3 times and then it's dead. My wife's car, it could probably do about 4 or 5 times. But it does hold enough juice to power my laptop. It also has a light that strobes. Also sends a SOS out. Good little pack. It has an indicator on the front to tell you how full the charge is. It comes with these special little connectors for jumping your car. And then it also comes with your charger for the car, if you need a charger in the car, home charger, and USB. Now this thing runs off from, for charging wise, a micro USB, like many other things. Okay, so let's get into some of the fun finds I did this week. Let's see, where did I put that card? I stopped down into Fun to Lock today and looked at a store down there called FDL Army Navy, I believe. It's a very old store, been around for, I talked to the guy, he's an old military guy, probably looked like he was in his, it was elder, but been around for 30 years, he's been running it, and he still runs on handwritten receipts. It's kind of interesting. He told me he's not too big on technology, which is very, very cool there. He does accept cards, but he has to run into a different machine. Talking with him, I did get a couple items from him. This first one is made by a guy here in Wisconsin that is a old Vietnam vet, I believe, or the Korean War, one of the two. But what he does, he makes his own fire starters. Now these things are made out of paraffin, beeswax, and corn syrup. It says on it, will deter mosquitoes. So I like to give to local people because really local people try really hard to, their own business, stuff like that. So I like to kind of support them. He lists the number on here. It's called Fire Starter, and his number is 608-449-3148. And he's got a little turtle on there. It says, "I won the race." It's pretty hilarious. But these things are, let's pull one open and kind of see what it looks like. To me, it probably looked like a wafer that you can tear pieces off from, and you'll be able to start. And that's what it looks like. It's a very dark kind of honey colored, dark honey, paraffin wax, and all recycled materials: corn, beeswax, and paraffin. So I guess these are probably supposed to be pretty good survival fire starting stuff. Next, I found at this little shop, so for my masks, my M17 and M40 mask, I found a mask adapter that will connect from the mask to my camel pack for $3.99. So that's a pretty cool little adapter. If I have to, I can throw that camel pack on my back, throw that mask on, and travel for a ways and be able to still stay hydrated. Alright, at this same shop, I found this right here, which I'm going to add to my medical kit. This is a military tourniquet, quick tourniquet. It basically is made out of rubber and 2 hooks. And it gives this nice little instruction that drape over the limb, tighten the wrap, and drape latex through hook, and then anchor free hook. And I don't want to take it apart, I just want to leave it in there. And I'll give you, kind of show you a picture of that. So I spent $4.99 on that, and that gives me a quick little tourniquet kit, which I didn't have before. There's a lot of different kinds out there you can go with. There's a lot of good ones. That was just something I found at this little shop. Other things I found was these pop brushes. So they look like this, and so you pull it out, it's a toothbrush. And inside this backside here, if you pop it forward and then squeeze it, you'll get toothpaste come out the end here. And so it's like a self-feeding toothbrush to go in your survival kit. So I found those to be kind of cool. So I picked those up. I believe I bought them for $1.99 a piece down at that little shop. So we found that and that. My other finds this week was I was down at Northern Tool Supply, and I got a bucket. So they have this deal going on. You buy their bucket, and anything you fit inside the bucket, you'll get 15% off on it. So what I do, I went through the store and picked up all these sale items. So this right here is a Rhino wipes. They're dry wipes that are really durable, and they come in this nice zip-up container with a little spot up on top that you can pull them through. They have like a little webbing material that you can attach them to your backpack or inside your truck. Total tote system, 25 times stronger than a regular paper towel. And I got them for before the 15% off. I got them for $3.75. So 15% off, you figure that out, a total of like $3. I don't know, probably a little less than that. Good little stuff. Of course, picked up more hand sanitizer because you gotta have it. You're gonna need it. Another fun little thing I found at Northern Tool was this Cricut 5-minute fire starter. Now I wanted to kind of look at this with you guys because on the outside of the box has this little strike area, so I imagine these things look like giant matches or something. Let's open it up and kind of peek what they look like. So yeah, check this out. This is kind of interesting. It's a big wafer looking like thing. You probably break one apart. It's like a giant match. Pretty thick, like cardboard material. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a thick match. Then on the side of the box, of course, it's got the striker, and then you just strike that across, and then you get a nice good little flame that's going to last a little bit. And each one of these burns for 5 minutes. So that's a good little find for inside my emergency kit. I'll probably take this and break it down and put it into a waterproof container, just because this is a cardboard box and you get it wet, it's wet. then your striker doesn't work anymore, and what good is it? Of course, once again, more 5-hour candles, because candles are important. I talked about this already. I found some wipes inside Northern Tool, or not wipes, but some yellow gloves. It's fire starter, you can't eat it. But these are like the little work glove gripped yellow gloves. I got them for like less than $1. They're 6 mil glove thickness. They're pretty thick, and you probably wear these if you want to wear some sort of glove. I got them extras. It's always a good thing to have. Now, Northern Tools, they also had this big battery pack, which I threw inside that bucket. They had this for $4. This has 24 pack double A's, and for $4, that's really hard to beat, even if they don't last very long. And it'll give you at least long enough to get something done. So I figure for emergencies, why not? Then I also crammed this in the bucket. I got 2 of these long stick lighters for 50 cents a piece, because they were on sale for 75 cents a piece and 50% off. You know, it came out to like 50 cents a piece. So that was fun. I also grabbed a can of WD-40. The implications of WD-40 is, you know, pretty limitless when it comes to, you know, fighting rust. I like it for just about everything. Squeaky doors. I hate squeaky doors. So I spray them. The other thing I found was these rocks. I got these down at, ooh, I broke my candle. I got these down at Ace Hardware. They had them on sale, 2 for $1.50, I believe. Or no, it's 2 for $3. Maybe that's what it was. I'll have to relook. But what they are is they look like rocks, and there's a little sleeve comes out and it's hollowed out. Now, you know, the implications of what I could do with this, lots of stuff. Think about it. You could hide a key in it, put it outside. Now everybody knows that I have a key inside of a rock, but that's not what I use it for. What I would use it for is if I needed to leave a note, right, for a specific person, and I only wanted them to find it, I would hide it in this right here on my waterproof pad. I would write it on, leave it in this, leave it somewhere that they know it's going to be. Average person that comes by, they're going to see it, it's a rock. But they're going to walk by, they're going to see it, and they're going to get that note. So if I have to leave, I'm going to leave a note. In kind of short directions where I have to be. So, the last thing is I have a MK8 smoke signal. If I get to a situation, I put this always in my bug out bag, and I don't think I went through this last time. I always have one of these in my bug out bag. The reason for that, if I get lost somewhere and, you know, I see a plane, I see something, I at least have some way to create a big smoke storm. And so this will signal what I need to do, or this will signal people where I'm at, locations. So, you know, that's the kind of the gist of it there. Got any questions, please reach out to me. If you have any comments you want to kind of leave, if something next week you want to see, shoot me a message and we'll kind of work on it from there. I'm still in the process of getting some sound equipment and some a better camera. It's going to happen, it hasn't happened yet. I haven't made the decision of what I want. So if you are familiar with some equipment that I could get for fairly decent price, or what your recommendations for like a GoPro, I really get my eye on like a GoPro 8. I just seen some of the new reviews on those. They're pretty phenomenal what they can do as far as the stabilization. Yes, okay. Next week I'll go into some dental floss for you, Dan. Yeah, dental floss is a great thing to have in your pack, but you want to make sure it's the unflavored one, because you can actually use it to use it as sutures, but you want to make sure it's unflavored because you don't want to get an infection from whatever they use for flavoring. But we'll go over that next week. Just you guys shoot me information. I'd like to kind of show you guys what I've done around here. I've been working pretty hard on my workspace here. Let's see. Let's go back here. Here's one wall. I've got my bags up on this wall. There's one set of bags. I put up those benches, the shelving stuff. I got my good stuff back here. And then the front here, I put up my bags here. Of course, you guys seen that last time. Turn on a light here. Got some shelving, working on it. Got some other shelving over here that I'm working on. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. You know, I put a article on what was it, Facebook, just like 3 days ago. One thing I do recommend is having one bottle at least of alcohol. Not rubbing alcohol, I'm talking about drinking alcohol. And the reason for that, you want something that can burn, one. The implication of that. Oh man, I totally forgot a couple items I got. So, here's one. Here's one. Everclear, right? How many of you guys can tell me what you could do with Everclear other than drinking it? I'll give you a few seconds. And by the way, 190 proof, which comes out to 95% alcohol. That'll burn a little bit. Here was my other budget find. I was down at Habitat for Humanity. They had these water bottles, brand new, never opened, never used. They're Brita bottled water filtration system. There's a filter inside. You know, filter up to 300 bottles of water for $7 a piece. That was my other find. I was pretty excited about that. BPA free, dishwasher safe. It says to replace filter every 216 refills, or equivalent of 2 months to 40 gallons of water. So you know, that might be pretty good to have. Yeah, sanitize. That's what Everclear is good for, is sanitizing things. You can use it for cleaning wounds if you need to. You can use it for starting fires. I've even heard people using it for deodorant, but myself, I think that might burn a little bit, getting up in those sensitive areas. So, well, if you guys have any questions or any concerns or anything like that, please reach out to me. One of the things I really encourage is, you know, being a community. Yeah, kill some pain and trade. That's the other one. Is having that will allow you to use it as currency. And like I said, we're kind of bouncing around here because there's a slight delay between me and you. Yeah, so that bottle of Everclear is trade. It can also be used to, you know, numb you a little bit. Drink a little bit of it, you'll probably come a little numb. Everclear is some very strong stuff. If you can stomach it, it actually on the bottle recommends not drinking it straight, mixing it with something. Just having that one bottle, even if you're a whiskey guy, having that one bottle of whiskey it is good to have around. And not saying that you should drink it. I don't drink. I have the bottle for either cleaning wounds, starting fires, trade. If I need to get somebody drunk and operate on them, I had to. No, I'm just kidding. If I had to give myself stitches or have somebody else give me stitches, yeah, I might have to take me a couple shots, clean the wound up a little bit, kill the pain a little bit. But it wouldn't be the first time I give myself stitches. But hopefully I'm using some medical grade super glue or just some regular super glue. It depends if I drink too much. But I'm looking forward to kind of continuing this. If you guys want to, if this time doesn't work for you, let me know. I kind of dedicated this time to doing this once a week. If things get worse and there's emergencies and stuff like that, I might start having other times come available to be able to produce videos and be able to reach out to everybody, kind of give the news that I hear. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that I can see you guys are there, and to let people know that I am doing this on YouTube. I haven't. Well, thank you, Sherry. I will be developing new topics and stuff like that every week, different tactics and stuff like that. And once this coronavirus, it kind of dies down, we'll be kind of changing speeds and going different directions. I'm really hoping in this summer that when we kind of open up with warmer weather, get outside, start practicing some different tactics as fire starting, and etc. Oh, that was the other thing. I wanted to talk about EDC. Sorry guys, I kind of got lost there. Everyday carries. That's what EDC stands for. You should be carrying something with you at all time. If your pockets are empty, other than your wallet, then you're not very prepared for anything. I personally carry a pocket full of stuff, right? My everyday carries are, of course, my chapstick, because I get dry in the wintertime. I talked about this pen before. The zebra pen is solid stainless steel, does not rust. It is very sturdy, very strong. I could slam this thing into a 2x4 and still work. I can carry it everywhere. Second thing I carry every day, hand sanitizer. I don't have to go over that. I hope I've covered this enough. A knife, a good knife. It doesn't have to be a high dollar knife. And what I recommend is carrying something that's 3.5 inches long. My preferred brand is a Gerber. And the reason for that, I've had lots and lots of Gerbers, and they don't fail me. You'd hate to be out dealing with whatever you're dealing with and your tool break. Some people carry more in this. That's just what I carry. I also carry extra cards inside my wallet. Not like credit cards, but just a hard card, just in case I need to use it to, I don't know, use it for something. I don't want to say, but but having the knife. Here in Wisconsin, there is no regulation. You want to check state by state. There is no regulation to size. This right here is a Gerber, the tactical folder, I think, 191011168 by Gerber. It's spring assist, so that's going to kind of help it open up. There's a little switch here that you have to press in to deactivate it. And then you press it back down and it locks it in place. You don't have to worry about it coming open inside your pocket, stabbing, etc. One thing I'll go through in one of the episodes coming up will be make sure your knife's sharp. You don't want to be dealing in a situation your knife be dull. So we'll kind of go through decent practice on how to get a blade sharp. So I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to me rant and talk about all this emergency stuff. And I'm looking forward to kind of showing you guys what I know and what I'm learning as I go. I'm the first one to say I don't know everything, but what I am willing to do is learn. And if you're willing to learn, you can survive. Your odds go up the more you learn. So, well, everybody have a good night. Be safe, and just, communicate with the community, hear what you see, talk about it, and we'll discuss things later. Have a good night.